Welcome to Biz Dev Live. I am so excited to bring you the amazing Fanny Dunagan today. She is a true LinkedIn superstar. We're going to get into all of that and more right after the Biz Dev theme. Stay with me.
Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz Dev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T. Biz D with C, brought to you by Cameron T.
Fanny Dunagan is a LinkedIn video content creator and CEO of Pathlinks, which helps business owners and corporate professionals build their unique LinkedIn brand and content. She trains and empowers individuals and leadership teams to take charge of their personal and business branding, create value for others, and build an engaged community around their products and services. That's her bio, but that only speaks just a little to the amazing value that you'll get from the content that Fanny Dunagan creates on LinkedIn. I really highly encourage you, if this is the first time you've ever heard of Fanny, really go and check her out. I have learned so much, built LinkedIn posts that have literally garnered thousands of views based on the information that she gives out for free on LinkedIn. Today, we're going to talk about all of the ways that you can become a content creator and bring people into your brand. Really excited to have Fanny Dunagan on the show. Fanny, thank you so much for being with me.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you so much. I was like bopping to your song there. I think I need a hip hop song
there you go. Yeah,
for my show. It was very cool.
I'll give you the ends. We'll make sure it happens for you. So tell us what you're doing. I mean, I am enthralled. I try to stay tuned. I think every Thursday at 4. Is that right?
That's right. Every Thursday, 4 Central. Mm-hmm.
Thursday at 4 Central,
yeah.
You have a show, you do content tips. In addition to that, so much amazing content coming from you. Talk to us about not only what you're doing with that, but what your company does, because you have an amazing professional broadcasting background too. You do so much. Talk to us.
Thank you, Cameron. Again, thank you so much for having me on your show. So I kind of wear 2 hats. I always tell people I have my own company, which is Pathlinks. And on one hand, I support a company called Delaware with their IT recruitment as well as employer branding. And then on the other hat is where I help individuals and small business owners, mid-sized companies and their leadership teams create a LinkedIn brand, as well as video content marketing, content calendars, content strategies. And my mission really is to empower people to share their message on video. And I'm very, very passionate about that and have kind of created a business all around that. And I just love it. I kind of found my way to this path through a whole variety of different careers. I kind of started off as an engineer and then got into the corporate world doing business consulting and technology consulting, where I kind of really specialize on communications and training. And from there, I took several years off to be a stay-at-home mom. And when I was ready to get back into the workplace, I didn't want to go back to corporate. I actually wanted to carve out a business of my own. And through a series of trial and errors and mistakes and challenges and rewards and lessons, I ended up as a business owner and helping others create their brand online.
That's amazing. So tell me why you're so passionate about, because you have an incredible passion. You go into this full charge. I mean, I know I heard a little bit of the story about not wanting to go corporate, and I can certainly identify with that. I was sort of in a similar place trials and tribulation. Won't go into my whole story right now, but the idea of,
Yeah.
you know, we're also in that moment right now where so many people are going through that. They may have been laid
Yes.
off, decided because of family, health reasons, whatever, to transition. So amazing
Yes.
time. We're going to see so many businesses born of this.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about your passion for sharing, because obviously you don't just wake up one morning and just say, oh, I'm going to, you know, produce amazing amounts of content for LinkedIn.
Yeah, yeah. I think I'll dive a little deeper. I mean, I've always loved being with people and love the art of communications and training. So that's kind of from my corporate past. And when I took those years off to be a stay-at-home mom and wanted to kind of get back into working after that, I didn't know what to do. And so I started volunteering at a local outreach center and helping them with their, you know, English as a second language classes, their GED classes, helping with training coordination. And throughout all that, I ended up helping them with job fairs. And so it's timely that you mentioned people looking for work, because we ended up creating job fairs. And as a result, I created tons of marketing on Facebook and LinkedIn to help connect to job seekers, as well as to help connect with employers. And that's when I kind of fell in love with helping people share their messages. And I found that a lot of people struggle with that. I struggled with that, right? Especially getting on video, right? Cameron, we're both on video now, but it takes like a big, I don't know, like hurdle to overcome the fear of that. And over time, I've gotten comfortable with it. I still get nervous, but now I feel like more and more people need to be sharing their messages. Whether you're a job seeker or a business owner or mid-sized company or on a sales team or you're a CEO of a big corporation, we all live digitally right now, especially during the pandemic when we can't meet each other. And if we're not creating videos and if we're not sharing our message and sharing our products or services, people are going to have a tough time finding us. And it's kind of like the currency right now. I follow a great guy called Peng Joon on YouTube, and he always talks about social media assets. So you have to think of your videos as your assets instead of real estate assets. And you owning a home. These videos are your social media assets. And this is what is going to help you get your message out to your audience, your customers, your clients, and create a community.
I love that. I identify so much with, I didn't just jump in, we started this show, BizDev Live, this year. And, we're, this is 148, whatever this video
wow.
is,
Wow. Congrats.
Thank you.
Wow.
But yeah, it's not something that, because I had done this video, doing stuff on TikTok, you sort of dip your toes in, but it does take, I really feel you on it takes something to sort of say, all right, I'm going to fully commit to this and go in. It's very similar to like that business development journey. I think, there's a lot of people that, you're in corporate and you're saying, well, I kind of like to start my own thing.
Yeah.
And then something happens that says, all right, that's it. I am definitely doing this. I'm fully committing to this.
Absolutely.
Talk to us about the learnings, the takeaways from, because we talked a little bit before we jumped on about, the journey and, one of the reasons I started my own business in addition to getting out of corporate was to make time and stay home with my children, see them as they're coming home from school, right? So all of that stuff plays into it. But talk to us about like that journey, that path for you. What was interesting and what do you see that's something that other folks should take away from that?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I think you're going to find as you hop on video, as you create content for social media, for me, it was LinkedIn, but depending on your audience's products and services, Instagram might be the best place. Facebook might be the best place. For me, LinkedIn is the place, especially for business to business, B2B. And I think what you'll find is along the way, you're going to end up finding what you love to talk about and what you don't like to talk about. And I find that content creation is a journey of self-discovery, is a journey of self-awareness. I coach a lot of Gen X and baby boomers on, LinkedIn video content. And a lot of it boils down to 4 types of content that you can create. And what you'll find that is like these 4 types will help kind of sort through all the thoughts in your head, right? Because I find that, especially Gen X and baby boomers and even, millennials, as you start to, start a business or grow your business, you're going to feel like, oh my gosh, there's so many things in my head. How am I going to boil that down into a video or a short post? And I want you to try to think of it in 4 categories. So the first one is educational posts, right? Share things to educate your audience. We all look to the internet now to learn things, right? So whatever your product is, whatever your service is, what are some tips and advice that you can give around your products and services? What are the benefits? How will it help people with something? And make lists, right? Like 5 ways to improve something, 3 mistakes to avoid when doing this, 7 tips to, save money doing this, and so forth, right? So create posts, whether it's videos or any kind of social media posts, to educate, right? Help share your knowledge with people. And because at the end of the day, people pay for advice and knowledge, right? So that's definitely number 1, educate people. Number 2 is inform people, right? So that's when, if you have a promotion or a product launch or a webinar or a sale, inform, right? Tell them date, time, place, venue or webinar or Zoom link, wherever it's going to be hosted. Inform people about your product launches, about your webinars, about your trainings, conferences, whatever it is, right? So that's the second type of content you can create. Number 3 would be inspirational posts, right? Touch people in their hearts, right? I always tell people, talk to their heads, but you also have to talk to their hearts. And that's inspirational posts. So examples of inspirational posts is stories, right? Share a story of a struggle and a challenge you face, and then the lesson you learn from it. Also share quotes or books or podcasts or images or things that motivate you, inspire you, get you going in the morning, pull you up from a dark spot. So share things like that. And then number 4 is entertaining posts. That's when you can get funny or musical, like Cameron had that cool beat for his intro, right? That's entertaining, right? So people love funny posts or have very visually creative posts, something to catch somebody's eye, make somebody smile. And that's when you kind of really can use your creativity. So as you kind of try to sort through all the ideas in your head, categorize them and look at these 4 purposes and then create content around that. Educate, inform, inspire, and entertain.
Oh, I love that. I want to talk about the fact that the way that you lay stuff out, I was thinking in my head, if you're somebody that you're looking for a job, or you're somebody that's trying to promote your business, or you're somebody that is trying to become a knowledge or thought leader in their own right, that strategy works for everybody. And I know that, for somebody listening to it, they may say, well, I'm not that funny, but maybe your passion is informing or educating, right? Or maybe you really like inspiring people. I think about all the posts I see from folks that are in the coaching or workout, instructor kind of thing. Maybe that's what your thing is. And I also really love the idea that this works across formats, right? So you talked about
Yes.
LinkedIn being yours. I know I'm trying to really go hard on YouTube because of
Yeah.
the value I see, especially in what you're talking about in terms of media assets, right? Having the content there, having the ability to potentially monetize on YouTube, all that jazz, right? But the idea that and I heard this in networking meetings. We went around and we asked people, what is the favorite email you like to receive? And to my surprise, because we got the comments like, oh, I like getting that email saying that I got the business, right? There was a lot of that. But a third or more of the comments was, I like getting a funny video in my email.
Yes.
And I was completely surprised.
Yeah.
So if you're funny, if you have something like
you win.
that it's so real. Like you don't know how big your talent is. So hopefully for the folks that are watching this, that enjoy informing, enjoy inspiring, enjoy entertaining, all that stuff. If you have any one of those things that you would lean into it, and I guarantee you put it out there, right? People are going to follow you. I've talked so much about the idea that you don't even have to be great at social media; you just have to be consistent.
Yes.
I don't know. Can you talk to us about, like, because I know, and I really was inspired, the fact that you're working people with job fairs. I've been a part of soundbusiness.org for the last 24 years, which is college and career preparation, mainly based out of A. Philip Randolph Campus High School, but with the idea of helping high school students, prepare for every opportunity. Talk to us about, how somebody that's looking for, right now, so many people are changing careers, trying to look for a job. So talk to us about that consistency when it comes to the job search and creating that persona.
Absolutely. And just real quickly to your earlier point about being funny, like I actually don't think I'm very funny. So even if you don't have that inclination, you can entertain people in other ways. So I weave in a lot of my travel photos into my posts and then tie it to business and so forth. Or you could do sports analogies, right? Or hobbies or crafts. Right. So for all of you out there, don't feel like, oh, I'm not funny, I can't be on social media. Just tie in your interests so that people see this other side of you. So just wanted to add that to the other point. But as far as job seekers, one thing that I have a video out there actually on my YouTube channel. So please feel free to check me out on YouTube. It's just Fanny Dunagan, and subscribe to my channel. I'm still kind of learning there and growing there on YouTube, even though, I have a much bigger following on LinkedIn. But there's a video in there that you can watch. And I show people how you can take job descriptions and use that to come up with content ideas for your LinkedIn. And so I'm going to just kind of walk through real quick how you can do that. So pick out a job description that you're an absolute fit for, and go through it and highlight certain bullet points in there that relate to something you're really, really good at, right? So for instance, if you are a HR manager or a marketing associate or marketing director, right? And you go in there, find a line in there. So one of the lines maybe for a marketing director is must be able to create marketing strategies and plans, right? So maybe that's just one sentence in the job description. Pull that out and then ask yourself, what are 3 tips that I can give around that bullet point, right? How would I coach somebody to create a marketing strategy or so forth? And then pick up your phone and record a 1 to 2 minute video of like the 3 tips that every marketing strategy should have. And then start listing them. Number 1, whatever. Number 2, so forth. Number 3, so forth. And then that's your first video, right? Or first post. You can write it. If you're a better writer, then do it in the form of an article or a written post. But if you have a personality, if you want people to really connect with you and see you and bond with you and create trust, I highly encourage you to get on video. but then start to pull out other bullet points or other sentences in the job description and create little 1 to 2 minute videos giving your advice around that sentence in the job description. Okay. And so even if you don't end up with that job, right, you're going to have this whole library of little tips and pieces of advice that tie to typical jobs and things in job descriptions that speak to you. Right? So that's a great way to leverage job descriptions and tie it to LinkedIn posts. Oh, you're on mute, Cameron.
I was trying to make sure the YouTube wasn't playing as I was putting that link up for your video. The really interesting thing that I think about video too, and I encourage people, from Gary Vaynerchuk's advice, getting on TikTok, and looking at LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of those places right now where you can really get a lot of organic growth from your posts, right?
Yes.
You put up a great post, it goes to second and third links, get some comments going, which all of this I learned from you, right? So that's a great place. And then TikTok is another place where you can get a lot of organic growth.
Yeah.
And the thing that's really interesting on TikTok, and I was just having the conversation, I was in a mastermind group, and we were in a breakout, and I was talking to the lady, and she's like, well, TikTok isn't for my brand. And I was like, okay, sure. Right. So the idea here is that, maybe you don't want to spend all your time on TikTok, but the idea is if you go on there and you search for whatever your industry is, your job role is, there is somebody, which speaks to your point, right?
Yes. I've seen LinkedIn advice on TikTok. I've seen job search advice on TikTok, resume writing advice on TikTok, and they're killing it because no one else is doing it, right? So they're the one and only one, or just a small group, right? I mean, you and I both follow Gary Vee, right? And that's the thing, right? The trick is, if you are bold enough and courageous enough and just not care so much about failure or asking for permission, if you jump in, especially to LinkedIn and TikTok right now, which Gary Vee, always Gary Vaynerchuk, for those of you out there, just type @ Gary Vee and you'll find his content all over the place. But those two channels right now, TikTok and LinkedIn, still have tons of organic growth. You don't have to pay for advertising. You don't have to buy ads. And if you jump on it now, while it's still early, while people are still trying to figure it out, you're going to get a lot more followers and not have to pay for it. Right?
And the other point I was going to bring in is, like, because people are on there, like you're talking about resume tips, LinkedIn tips, everything. And there's people that are on there that are on camera, like, that showing their face like you and me right now. But there's other people that are like, just here's a picture of the resume, and they go through and they just edit it and their face isn't on the camera. Right. And maybe that's the way you need to start to get comfortable with, because you're not comfortable having your face on camera. You're not comfortable putting on the makeup. You feel insecure. That's a great way to get started. And I love that. There's a lot of different ways to do it. And if you just go and look, there's somebody showing you the model, right? You don't have to figure it all out for yourself.
Yeah. I mean, think of it as like cooking, right? There's so many cooking demos, right? Especially on TikTok. But a lot of them, you don't necessarily have to see the chef. You're just seeing them prepare the meal. So it's like a zoomed in view of someone chopping or sauteing or cooking. Right? So same thing can be done for LinkedIn, right? If you're not ready for that, then do demonstrations, demos, do screenshots and screen shares. You can, LinkedIn is actually right now a really great way that gets a lot of views on LinkedIn, is doing either short form word posts. There's 1,300 characters that you can write on LinkedIn, and write something up in 1,300 characters, make it very bullet points, short to the point. Those posts are getting a lot of views on LinkedIn right now. And then also PDF posts, right? So have one point for every slide, and have people be able to scroll through on LinkedIn. And that's a great way as well if you're not quite ready to get on video. So I always tell people, like, just pace yourself, right? And if you don't even want to create content, the number one thing you can do is comment, right? Comment on people's feeds that you want to be hired by, that you want to create a relationship with, or that you just respect and like their comment or like their content, right? And don't ask for things. Just support the creator and engage with people in the comments. And that's how you can even build relationships. I've found clients through engaging with them in comments. Right?
So I want to dig into this because I know this is something that you've talked a little bit about before, and it's something that I struggle with because I am on social media a lot because I'm posting a lot of content, and you try not to get swallowed up. So how do you suggest for people, if this is the strategy they want to go after through this comment kind of strategy, how do you find the things, or how do you strategically go after things that you think are going to bring you value? Obviously, a big part of the whole commenting thing is that it's not about you. You're not asking, you're not advertising. It's not, and I see this all the time, like, hey, I love your post, and I offer this.
Yes.
Right? And I think that's probably not what you're talking about, not the way to do it.
No. So within a comment, what you can do is, first of all, acknowledge the creator, right? So be genuine, right? Thank them for what they posted. Mention something that you liked that they posted, right? Just a little sentence. I really like your tip number 3 because whatever, right? And then I would also add your insights. Right? So if it's like 5 tips to improve something, you can say, well, my 6th tip, I would add this as well. So you're giving something, right? You're also sharing your tips and advice within a little comment. And then thirdly, you can also pose questions, right? The content creators actually really enjoy answering questions, right? So if you have questions yourself, ask the questions in the comments. So in a way, you end up with like a mini coaching within the comments from the creator, right? So that's how you're going to build up creators. And the reason for that is you can also do that for employers that you might be applying to jobs for, clients that you might want to attract, people in your industry that are influencers and that are thought leaders. You can get their attention that way through their comments. And that's a great way to build your network, right? There's people that constantly engage with my content that I've never met, but like Cameron, you and I met, I think, through comments or through a post, right? And over time, we have this relationship now, even though you're in New York and I'm in Dallas, right? And so that's how you build community. That's how you create collaborations, partnerships, and then also, might meet clients or people that you end up working with. So don't underestimate comments. And then if you're creating your own content, make sure you reply to everyone that comments on your own post as well, right? Don't just give it a like. That's very passive. What you need to do is, if they say, really enjoyed your article or whatever, ask them things like, what did you enjoy? What are you working on right now? How can I help you? And then skim through their content, skim through their LinkedIn profile and see if there's something that you can add of value to them. Say, oh, I see that you have a podcast. Are you creating videos around that? Or why are you so passionate about business development and so forth? So that's how you can kind of start there and then grow a relationship from it.
So I think, and go back to how we met, I think you were, if I'm not mistaken, you were a part of an event. And I think I latched onto you there and didn't let go. I was like, all right, I got it. But the strategy that I think that I'm hearing is find somebody that you really like what they're doing. That, and this is one of those things that I know, getting into circles where you get into that self-improvement thing, mastermind groups, coaching, this kind of thing. Everybody says you need to have this network of players that you can learn from, mentors. Yeah. And so I think social media provides one of those great places where you can actually connect with. And it's difficult because I know, I can go comment on like Gary Vaynerchuk, who is,
Sure.
and you're not necessarily going to get a response because
Right.
of the amount and the volume. But he's also pretty famous for responding. So if you stay with it long enough, you may get a direct response.
Well, Cameron, maybe I can go through a quick exercise with you.
There you go.
Okay?
All right.
Let's do it. Let's do a live exercise right here. Okay, so Cameron, like, who is your target client?
So, that's a confusing place for me right now with BizDev Live, because it's really
just a quick one answer.
But
just for the
business owners and entrepreneurs, let's say that.
Okay. And then, and then pick an industry, pick a niche that they would be in.
Let's say communications.
Okay. Okay. So I would start to study hashtags that are related to that topic, right? So I would type in hashtag entrepreneurship onto LinkedIn and start skimming who is posting and who is commenting on anything that relates to hashtag entrepreneurship. I would also type in hashtag communications, or if somebody's in technology, hashtag information technology or technology, or if somebody's in artificial intelligence, hashtag artificial intelligence, and then pull up all the content. And then start to study, right, what people are talking about and what are the top questions that people are asking, right? And then from there, interact with them, right? So then not only are you going to find people that are creators in that space, you're also going to find people that are interested in that space, because you can tell from whoever's commenting on it. And then that's how you can start to network and find potential clients that are interested in entrepreneurship and communications. Right. So
not only the people you're interacting with, but the people that are also following that will see you as you're
absolutely.
Right. Yeah.
That's it. So I always say, like, research and study as well. Right. You don't have to just immediately go out and create. Just sit back and like study what people are doing, and then ask yourself, do I like that? Is that my style? Right. Because you got to be authentic too. Yeah. Don't do something that's not, in line with your style. If that doesn't gravitate to you, then don't create your content like that, right? But if something says, you know what, I like that style, I'm going to adopt it, I'm going to tweak it to my own flair, and then go with that, right? And then see if people are resonating with that. A lot of it's trial and error, right? You try something, going back to your point about consistency, as long as you're showing up week to week, day to day, and pumping out content and not be attached to the results so much, right? Some days you're going to get a home run, and other days, wah, wah. It didn't work.
I've learned so much from doing it consistently. And I find, you talked about in the beginning helping clients with content calendars, right? Just getting your stuff on the calendar, even if you're not deep in social media every day, if you're sectioning off and saying, all right, I'm going to spend a day or 4 hours or 5 hours on putting together social media posts and using some sort of tool like Hootsuite or later.com to post content on it, but then seeing those results of the consistent posts and learning from that, and then doing what you're suggesting, which is, all right, there's somebody in your industry that you really like what they're doing, going and commenting on their posts and making commitment to spend. I remember going to LinkedIn seminars where they would say, spend 15 minutes on LinkedIn every day. And it seems silly, but that kind of consistency with your networking, it really makes the difference. Talk to me, because you're a female entrepreneur. And I know we talked about this before we jumped on. What is the message for folks that, obviously we're dealing with challenging times. I think there's other people that are on the benefit side of this. Maybe they're were ideally set going into this. They were working with Zoom or something along those lines where their business was set up for e-commerce or something like that. What is your message to female entrepreneurs on all ends of the spectrum?
Yeah. I think a lot of people have a assumption that If you're a video content creator, then you must be this, extrovert and super high energy and like, rah kind of person. And I'm none of those things. I mean, I can be enthusiastic and passionate and interested on a whole variety of things, but you got to do you. And I see a lot of women that hesitate and that hold back. If you scroll across YouTube creators, LinkedIn creators, all kinds of different platforms, maybe with the exception of Instagram, there's so many male content creators and just not enough female content creators. And I encourage all your female audiences out there to share your message, right? People need to hear your message. And I think a lot of times we feel like we need to ask permission first or get permission from something or somewhere, or we need to learn everything first before we're willing to jump in. Unfortunately, our society, the trends right now, the mindset right now is not about waiting and sitting back, right? If you want that job, if you want that client, if you want to get out there, be a thought leader, now's the time to, I always say, like, hashtag do it scared, right? Just do it scared. Everybody has value, and don't apologize for it. We need female voices. We need female entrepreneurs. We need female content creators. And a big part of that is to first, obviously, do it scared. Know that you have a message to share. Know that your voice matters. And know that there's an audience out there that wants to hear it from your perspective, right? Like if you are a stay-at-home mom that wants to start a sticker business, right? Say that. Talk about your story. I have my kid running around in the background here, and I also want to do this quick demo of these stickers that I'm launching, right? Or this flower bouquet that I'm launching, and so forth. And then on LinkedIn, right? Share your perspective. I help support a whole variety of organizations in technology, especially women in technology. Right? Share your stories, encourage others to get into technology or math and science and all these other fields that need more female representation. I love you, men. This is not anything against you guys. It's more about encouraging women to step out into light and be on video and share your message.
Yeah, and I want to share that. I mean, I know we talked about before we jumped on as well, this idea of the level of confidence between the sexes. I deal with this in interview after interview for waiters and bartenders and chefs and kitchen assistants, not even talking about folks in the C-suite. As we know, as the air gets a little bit thinner, so does the ranks of females. And that's changing, which is great, and we should all want it to be. Speaking as a man, I want a world where women are more representative, to where they are in the population. I think we want more women leadership for less wars. There's also so many studies that show when women make money, that money goes back into the community. The whole population does a whole lot better. So I think that both the just common sense morals of it make a lot of sense, and I think you got the science that backs it all up too, that says dummies, come on, let's go, let's make this right. And I want to sort of put my voice out there and say, listen, if you got the resume, even if you don't have the resume, have the confidence, because your male counterpart has the confidence without the resume. So don't let that hold you back. And then if you do have the resume, man, own that and know it and don't apologize. I wanted to call out because talking about LinkedIn, there's a CEO, founder and CEO of Spanx, Sarah Blakely.
Yes. Oh my gosh, I follow her.
Yeah. I mean, and
awesome.
Talk about like just putting it out there and just a vulnerability. I've seen posts, things that I'm not comfortable mentioning, but people just, putting out there. And I think female CEOs are getting more comfortable with talking about their bodies and talking about all the realities of things, things that men have done for a long, long time, but women have not felt comfortable to do so. I think it's really nice to see that openness and that ability for women to kind of go out there and be themselves without all of the kind of old school. I gotta look a certain way, talk a certain way, or else I'm going to come off this way, and then I'm never going to get an opportunity, kind of thing. I think that it's a new day, and one of the beautiful things about TikTok, to go back there, is that so many people, in terms of the content, are documenting the process, which is, in terms of, I guess that would fall into in terms of the 4 types of content, maybe informing, maybe educating,
inspiring,
inspiring, and also educating, and
entertaining.
Right. Because you see, like, as people are putting together their sticker businesses or whatever, like how it looks in their house, like they're documenting the process, the machines they're using, the apps they're using. So, the formula is like, there's so much access to that type of information. If you look for it, you can interact with these people more often than not. They're willing to give you all of their information for free in terms of how they've put it together and developed it, and so much opportunity.
Cameron, if I could add a quick point to that, please. Like, we have so much choice right now, right? If I want a vacuum cleaner, there's like 50 brands that I can buy from. If I want a meal set, there's 20 brands or whatever, right? We have so much choice when we buy right now, and so the way to stand out is to be the owner or be the entrepreneur that shares yourself along with your brand, right? And people buy from people they connect with. People buy from people that they feel a trust and a connection and a relationship with, right? So you mentioned the CEO of Spanx, right? Like, she on Instagram, like, on Sundays, she's sharing like behind the scenes of her making pancakes for all her kids, right? And then during the week, she's launching new products, new outfits, new leggings. But people connect so much with that, right? Because that's the spirit of parents and of moms, right? We juggle things, and we are trying to manage a business, and then on the weekends we're managing kids, and like by 4 p.m. I got to go out and pick up my kids. Like, people connect with that, right? And audiences connect with that. So I think if you're a brand that wants to stand out in a sea of other things that sell similar products or services to you, the secret is to be you and to share yourself. I'm not saying go out there and like sob your eyes out and just like get into way too much TMI, too much detail, but you can definitely share like, hey, really struggling with this right now, but what I've learned is this, and then this is the lesson that I got out of it. Or I tried these 5 things and finally settled on this that worked, but I failed these 5 times. And people love stories like that. People connect with stories like that, and people will buy as a result of that. I mean, you're not doing it for the sale, but you're doing it so that you can connect with your community and audience.
Well, yeah, I love the idea that I'm not going to go out with my sob story without a point, right? I'm going to come from a place of gratitude. If I'm vulnerable, it's because I'm telling you, this is what I'm dealing with. This is what I've been through, and this is how I'm dealing, or this is the help I need. I think that we all want to come from a place of, either I'm telling you it because it's something that I've overcome, or I'm telling you it because this is the help I need, and I'm looking to move forward. We all have been in that situation, I think, of somebody sort of wanting just a shoulder to cry on, and maybe social media isn't the exact right place for that. But certainly, hey, do you need a resource? Hey, I need this. And I see that all the time on Facebook, on LinkedIn. I'm looking for something. I'm looking to hire somebody. great place, right? You know, if I'm looking
Yeah.
to hire somebody, go on LinkedIn, advertise that.
Yeah.
You'll probably get a lot of people jumping in on that. So what is the
Absolutely.
help you need? Be specific to your want, and you'll definitely get some help there. And I love that, you know, when you're in a position of now you're a media presence. Now I can share what I'm doing on the weekend, and it's not like, you know, because so many people are like, you know, I remember all the conversations about Twitter and Facebook. Oh, I don't want to know what they had for lunch. Yes, you do.
You kind of
Absolutely.
do. We love behind the scenes tours,
Right.
especially now
you might not
in this
care what
pandemic. Yeah.
you might not care what Cameron Toth is having for lunch, but you care what Bill Gates is having for lunch, or
Yes.
that superstar that you want that body or whatever. Like you do care, right? And I
Yeah.
think that's so important, is that, you know, people, as long as you're doing something you're doing it in an interesting way, you'd be surprised how much people truly care and will watch.
Yeah.
I am amazed at going back and looking at, you know, the YouTube metrics, because I'm sort of talking into the abyss a lot of days, just, you know, talking into the black dot, and, you know, is anybody paying attention? I go back and, you know, in the last 28 days, people have consumed 44 hours. Who are these people? Like, but, you know, there's folks that are paying attention. You're providing value, and guess what? People will pay attention, right? I love that piece. All right.
And even Cameron, like real quick, like you have a catering business, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think it would be cool to like see behind the scenes of like, as you prep for an event, right? Like people love stuff like that. And then like to your point, right? Like, but along the way you give advice, right? So you're behind the scenes, you're getting ready for an event, and you could say, okay, these are the 5 things that I always check for right before an event starts. Number 1, make sure you do this. Number 2, make sure you do that. Number 3, check for this, and whatever your tips are. But like those would make for very engaging videos and content, right? Because then me as a consumer, I'd be like, okay, wow, he's really thorough. I want to hire him because he shows how thorough he is, and so forth, right? So stuff like that, like for people out there, do behind the scenes tours. And as you're walking and doing the tour, give tips.
Yeah, we've done that for Toth Event Staffing in the past.
Perfect.
And the mistake that we've made is we didn't do enough, right? You know, and I think that's a big message for folks. Do more, you know, document the process more. It may sound silly, but if you got the money to invest in it, hire a photographer to film all the stuff in the back and get that content, because, you know, these beautiful events go by. And so building that into the, you know, and I talk a lot about that on the biz dev side, building those costs into what you're doing, because that is the way to grow your business. All right. So I have to wrap this up, and I don't want to wrap this up without giving people the most pertinent information, which is how to get in touch with you. I know I have your LinkedIn below and the Pathlinks website below, but I want you to let people know how they should get in touch with you, and who are the people that should be getting in touch with you. Yeah,
for sure. I practically live on LinkedIn. So definitely look me up, Fanny Dunagan, on LinkedIn. And on there, you can find all my posts and tips and advice. But I've actually started to move a lot of that content to my YouTube channel. So definitely check me out on YouTube. Again, it's just Fanny Dunagan on YouTube. All my content tips are there. I'm loading all my shows there. And then on Thursdays, every Thursday at 4 p.m. Central, I go live on LinkedIn, and I interview a variety of content creators, experts, and have them share. And the consistency there is it's all about how-tos and advice and people that lead with their heart. So YouTube, LinkedIn, and I'd say those are the 2 main places to find me.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to hopefully getting the opportunity to do this with you again soon. Hopefully you enjoyed it. And
so fun.
Thank you. I am so excited for anybody that is seeing this. Go check out Fanny Dunagan on LinkedIn. Check her out on YouTube. Her content is amazing. It's been truly valuable to me. And I am always excited when I get to share somebody that I have really learned and participated with and use the services in some way, because I know that you guys are going to find a lot of value. So again, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say goodbye to everybody, and we'll play the BizDev theme out. Thank you so much for being on with me, Fanny.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you so much. I so appreciated the time. Go out there, shine your light, create videos, and share your message with the world.
BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. This is business development, not even selling it. This is intelligent. If you watch it, I promise you benefit. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. Leadership and motivation, empathy and inspiration. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizDev Live, weekdays at 11 Eastern Time. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T. BizD with C, brought to you by Cameron T.